Frisco, Texas. April 2nd, 2025. A high school track meet was underway at a stadium north of Dallas when a 17-year-old runner collapsed on the infield. His name was Austin Metcalf. He was a student athlete at a local high school. Public reporting says he had just finished competing when another teen approached him on the field. Witnesses later told investigators that an argument broke out in front of coaches, athletes, and families who were still in the stands. According to trial coverage, the confrontation ended in seconds, but those seconds would be replayed in court for months. Someone had a knife. Austin Metcalf was stabbed. Video from the meet would become one of the most important pieces of evidence in the case. Emergency crews were called to the stadium. Paramedics treated Metcalf on the field before he was rushed to a hospital. He did not survive. The Collin County medical examiner ruled his death a homicide. For a suburban community that had never seen anything like this at a school event, the killing sent shock through Frisco and across Texas. Investigators moved quickly. Within days, public records show a teen classmate was identified as a suspect. Collin County prosecutors filed murder charges. Because both the victim and the accused were minors at the time of the offense, much of the court process unfolded under strict reporting limits. But the basic allegation was clear: a fatal stabbing in public, on video, at a track meet. Frisco is a fast-growing suburb known for sports programs and packed Friday night crowds. The idea that a stabbing could happen on the infield, in daylight, in front of witnesses, made the case impossible to ignore. Detectives interviewed coaches, athletes, and parents who were still at the meet when the attack happened. According to reporting, several people captured portions of the incident on cell phones before first responders arrived. The defense would later argue self-defense. According to reporting from the trial, attorneys for the accused said Metcalf had been the aggressor and that their client had acted to protect himself when the confrontation turned physical. Prosecutors rejected that account. Trial coverage says the state relied on witness statements, meet video, and forensic analysis to argue the stabbing was not justified. Forensic pathologists explained the nature of the wounds. Detectives testified about what witnesses saw on the infield. And again, the state pointed back to video, surveillance and meet footage that showed the moments before and after the attack. As the case moved toward trial in Collin County, court-ordered releases brought new material into public view. Surveillance and meet footage showed the layout of the field, the movement of people near the infield, and the immediate aftermath when Austin Metcalf went down. Families on both sides sat through weeks of testimony. Expert witnesses explained wound evidence. Detectives walked jurors through frame-by-frame descriptions of what the video showed and what it did not. The trial became a test of competing narratives. Was this a sudden act of self-defense on a crowded field, or a murder prosecutors could prove beyond a reasonable doubt? Jurors heard from people who were at the meet that day. They heard arguments about who started the confrontation, whether a knife was visible, and whether the response matched the threat. Court filings cited in media reports described pretrial battles over evidence. What could be shown to the jury, what witnesses could say, and how much of the video would be played in open court. Outside the courthouse, the case drew attention far beyond Collin County. True crime audiences, local parents, and sports communities debated what the video proved and what remained uncertain. Inside the courtroom, the tone was different. This was not a podcast theory or a social media thread. It was a Texas murder trial with a dead 17-year-old and a defendant facing the possibility of decades in prison. Prosecutors told jurors to trust what witnesses saw and what the recording showed. The defense asked them to consider context, fear, and the seconds in which a school event turned into a crime scene. When deliberations began, reporters waited outside the Collin County Courthouse for a verdict that would define how the public remembered the Frisco track meet stabbing. In June 2026, after deliberation, a Collin County jury returned a verdict. Multiple news outlets reported the defendant was found guilty of murder in the stabbing death of Austin Metcalf. The verdict landed after months of pretrial hearings, evidence fights, and community debate over what happened that day in Frisco. Sentencing and any appeals were expected to follow under Texas law. For Austin Metcalf's family, the verdict marked one chapter in a case that began in front of a crowd at a track meet and ended in a Collin County courtroom. For the community, the case raised questions that would linger long after the verdict. How a routine school event became a homicide scene, and what video evidence can and cannot settle about a killing in public. This is a documentary summary of publicly reported information, educational purposes only.